Well, the election's over with, and I guess Obama-girl and Romney-girl are making up. It's just a matter of, let's get on with the bipartisan cooperation and move ahead. So, bipartisan cooperation in this case is going to mean the hell with the fiscal cliff. There is going to be no fiscal cliff. And I was listening to a little bit of what Mark Farber had to say about that. And I agree with him, but I looked at what the Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives said, and also the head of the Senate, the Democratic version. They're both talking about we have to do something about this fiscal cliff and avoid it. So they're just going to raise the debt ceiling. So that's something Mark Farber was talking about. But he talks about something else, Mark Farber, and it's very common sense. He says it's not the Greek situation that's going to cause, the markets to really collapse hard, I'd say, or go down or have a major correction in 2013. It's not the situation in Europe. It's not the fiscal cliff because there really isn't going to be a fiscal cliff. And, that's what I've been reading basically lately, too. They're talking about avoid it, avoid it. So, bipartisan cooperation, let's work together and spend lots of money. So, I don't think that's too good for the dollar and probably very bullish for gold, but that's what bipartisan cooperation usually means. Spend lots of money, raise the debt ceiling, get a couple more credit cards, and let's party, right? So that's the deal. Anyway, I'm not hooked to that situation, so I have silver and gold and palladium and all that type of stuff. So if they want to destroy the dollar, the government wants to get hawk up to the eyeballs, and have bipartisan cooperation, I'm not part of that deal. So hey, spend your way to oblivion. But what Mark Farber says is that what's going to actually bring down the markets is disappointing earnings. And that's plain common sense too. If you have a report comes out on a particular company that the profit went way down, that usually drives the stocks down. If the earnings look great, it drives the stocks up. It's the PE ratio, the price of the stock to the earnings of the company, right? Pretty simple, but that's what it is. And it does look like that the recessionary climate is continuing. We're probably going to see a decrease in the PMI. And let me just say this. Bernanke's promise is basically hooked to unemployment. Unemployment, right? So if unemployment doesn't get down to 7%, he's going to keep doing QE. So I think unemployment is going to stay high. And the PMI is going to get low. So there's going to be more QE. It should drive the metals up. But what's interesting? If you're looking at stocks in silver, the equities in silver, they're lousy. They've been getting trashed in the last week. But the common sense observation is this, and it's true. The miners aren't making that much money at $30 an ounce or $32 an ounce. It needs to be around 40 or more for them to make some good money. And as oil goes up, even though the crude oil price on the WTI is down, actually in reality, the price they pay for diesel fuel and things like that, it's high. It's high. The end product is high due to closing of refineries and also the refinery fires that were in California for a while. So that's affecting their bottom line. Even though the crude oil price isn't really moving much, the actual end product price of fuel is moving up. And that is an energy-intensive operation. So, I have to point out that the miners are a good indication of the direction of the stock. But I have to actually state that there is something fishy going on with the paper spot market. It is BS. I mean, maybe it shouldn't be $400 or $500 an ounce or something like that, but to say it should be $40 or $50 an ounce, so the silver miners can make some decent money, so their share price doesn't go down dramatically. That's not crazy. It's like this. Silver, is like number 2 in the commodity world for diverse and essential usage. Number 1 is crude oil. But if the price of silver is that, I mean, it's not like you're selling hula hoops or Cabbage Patch dolls. People could do without them. You can't do without silver that easily. And for the price to be this low, where the miners aren't making that much money and it's causing the stock prices to dip a lot, that's telling you something's fishy. Now, I don't know when the situation's going to break loose. It should. It should. But, it's like this. Either they're gonna have a decent enough price for the product, or there's gonna be more miners that maybe smaller miners, smaller ventures close down and they don't get started. And what that means later on, when the demand really picks up, there's going to be that much less that can supply it. So, the same case with palladium. I noticed North American Palladium stock ticker PAL is way down. That might be a good buy at this rate because it was up to $7 and it's like $1 something right now. It was up to $7 in 2011. So, and actually historically it's been up to around $10 or $11. It's been about 10 times higher than it is now. So that's telling me the price of palladium is too low. Too low. It's very expensive to mine palladium. Far more expensive to mine palladium than gold. It's even more expensive to mine palladium than it is platinum. Interesting, huh? Why is it so low? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But I figure it's a long-term hold and it's going to play out at one point in time. So today the markets are going down a little bit, and I'm going to tell you in worldwide events there's something else coming up. I know we're already on this side of the world, but in Israel there's a lot of stuff going on in Gaza. They got 20,000 troops amassing on the border. First time rockets are being fired at Tel Aviv like the way since say 1991. Iron Dome, which is the Israeli defense, intercepted 7 out of 7 missiles. But the situation in the Middle East seems to be, it's basically like this. Israelis are not going to back down until Hamas totally gives up. So I don't know. Maybe this could be the beginning of something bigger in the Middle East. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? It could be. It could be. I've always been of the expectation that some conflict should have actually. It seemed like it was right on the edge, and actually, in reality, it was right on the edge where there'd been major conflict in the Middle East. But that's what's going to make crude oil go right through the roof, and gold and silver is going to start taking off like crazy too. That's actually what's going to drive your products, your commodity products, way up. Gold, silver, and oil, of course. So, that's the sad reality of it. That's really how you're going to make money. But I always want to say, to leave you on a happy note, if you want to be happy for a year, get married. If you want to be happy for a lifetime, ride a motorcycle. So, hopefully the bipartisan cooperation between Romney-girl and Obama-girl continues, and they spend their way into oblivion, because it's going to make me rich. Because if you hold gold, silver, and other precious metals, it's just going to make them worth that much more in reference to the U.S. fiat dollar. So, when is this actually all going to occur? Hopefully a hell of a lot sooner than later, because we've had a long correction period here. Even when the metals really dipped down hard in the summer, it seemed like it was taking forever. I figured they were going to start pulling back up in June. They didn't start pulling back up until August. So, and now they're going into another little bit of a correction stall phase. But the metals are too low. Silver is too. Gold is actually profitable. Silver is not profitable to mine that much. Palladium is definitely not profitable to mine that much at the current prices. And the indication is what the miners are the stock prices on the miners dipping. Now, considering an wily old billionaire Eric Sprott is heavy into the miners, I don't think the guy's going to lose out. It's just a matter of holding on long enough, and at one point in time, they're going to take off like a rocket. So, just expect the cooperation between Romney-girl and Obama-girl to continue spending the government into oblivion, and therefore gold and silver are going to go up. So let me leave you with that thought. So the fiscal cliff ain't going to be a big deal. It's going to actually be very bullish for the precious metals, but not for the equities. Not for the equities. And in the case of precious metals, if the price is too low, guess what? They don't mind them. They don't mind them. So if you could do without silver, fine. I don't think so. It's not going to happen that easy.